If someone's intentions are pure, is it moral to vilify them if said intentions are derailed by circumstances completely out of their control? Everything I did for Owen. I was just trying to be the stage for his voice to call from. Would you deny an artist paint? Or a carpenter his tools? No. Owen's story deserved to be told, and it was my duty to tell it.
And where is Owen, Declan?
I don't know.
Let's start at the beginning. How did you and Owen meet?
So I first met Owen at the Shinewater Psychiatric Hospital. I was working for MacGuffin Studios, a small production company, and I was making a documentary for them about the lack of available access to funding for psychiatric hospitals or something trivial like that. Quite frankly, it was beneath me. And at my time in these hospitals, I thought I'd seen it all. And then I met Owen.
What's so special about Owen?
Owen believes that he is a vice detective in Miami circa 1985, but lives in the rural English countryside. I first encountered Owen when he mistook my boom operator for a drug dealer, which, needless to say, made everyone very uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable ain't exactly the word I'd use. Bloody racist bastard.
Ty was understandably surprised by this. We all were. He read him his Miranda rights, an American procedure. Now, I had met people who had delusions of being law enforcement before, but never from another country, let alone from a completely different time period. He was just what I was looking for.
I imagine Owen being the subject of filming made things a bit awkward on set.
You imagine?
Declan, are you sure it's safe here?
100%.
I don't want no one rugby tapping me again.
Don't worry, you're fine.
It's really annoying.
You're exactly where you need to be, I promise.
You need to lock him up, mate. Properly. Lock him.
Get along, you absolute digestible.
What? Why are you guys filming me? Uh-oh.
I didn't get into this industry to be manhandled by some crazy ass white guy. So I gave Declan an ultimatum. Him or me.
It was sad to let Ty go, but he proved to be too much of a distraction for Owen, and he was really throwing off the entire film.
Dude's crazy. I'm not just talking about Owen.
Yeah, Ty was understandably upset by this, but filming was hard enough with Owen being contained at Shinewater. Time and time again, the orderlies would interrupt whatever adventure Owen was set upon, and that really stifled my storytelling process.
Maybe they were more concerned with his safety rather than his story.
Well, yes, that's their job. But I'm a storyteller, and it's my job to share fantastical stories like Owen's with the world.
Wasn't your job to make a documentary about hospital funding?
I'm sorry? Do you want me to share Owen's story or not?
By all means.
Thank you. As I was saying, there were limitations with Owen being contained, and it was pertinent to our story that Owen was in his own world, but in the real world. Fortunately for us, he had completed his mandatory 6 months after being sectioned, and we were able to get the okay from Owen's doctor that he was safe to be released, provided that he come back to the hospital every week or so for treatment. And all this would have been fine. Except Owen's doctor was such a bore, and he was always trying to go on about Sigmund Freud when it wasn't even relevant.
It's true, I allowed Owen to be released from care. He had more than served his time in the hospital and proved not to be a danger to anyone.
What about himself?
Oh, absolutely. But aren't we all? You know, Freud once postulated that we humans are driven by death, and that most actions we make push us closer to our own demise.
You, dropped something. Didn't Owen's family mind about him being taken out of the hospital?
No, that's the easy part. You see, all of Owen's family are dead. It's actually one of the main factors driving his delusional disorder.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Oh, God, yes, of course, it's tragic, but, as a very wise man once said, one man's tragedy is another man's treasure. And that is a sentiment that I believe in wholeheartedly.
That was Kevin Spacey's character in House of Cards.
Really? Oh. Shit.
So what is a delusional disorder?
A delusional disorder is a type of psychosis in which a person cannot tell what is real from what is imagined. Typically, they form certain beliefs that help minimise their fears and surprises of the world. Owen's condition was as a result of a traumatic experience he had in his early 20s, which sadly resulted in the tragic death of his entire family. He became so haunted by the memory of it that his mind fabricated a fictional reality to help him cope with the loss.
Why specifically a Miami police officer in the 80s?
Well, when Owen arrived, his mind was in such a fractured state, we were unable to know for certain why he found comfort in the neon-soaked streets of 1980s Miami. From what limited information we could gather, we believe as a child, he and his father bonded over the mutual love of Don Johnson. Although, in the book Studies on Hysteria, Freud suggests that...
So how did you get Owen to agree to leave the hospital?
We managed to convince Owen that he had been promoted and was to be relocated to a new jurisdiction. And we chose Brighton because, like Miami, it is by the coast. It is very colourful, and it has a thriving gay nightlife. And we also told Owen that I was to be his new captain, and that he was to report to me directly for all new briefings.
So you effectively controlled his every move?
No, because that implies some sort of mutual understanding between the two parties. No, it was more like Owen was an untrained puppy and I was his handler. At first, things were relatively easy. Thanks to my line of work, I know numerous actors who are perfectly willing to perform any role just to put on their show reel. So I was able to make up crimes, stage drug deals, plant evidence, and even provide people for Owen to arrest. Easy. But then he started to become suspicious. he thought all the crimes he was investigating were linked. That they were all being perpetrated by the same person, a powerful crime lord called Lorenzo. He was obsessed with Lorenzo. He started ignoring orders and looking for Lorenzo at all times. He was a renegade, a loose cannon. It was amazing. It was exactly the fresh turn that my story needed. But then he started going behind my back, and that's when things started to get out of my control. You know, he wasn't sleeping. He was increasingly erratic and paranoid. He thought he was being watched all the time. He was crazy. Oh, well, crazier. And then one day...
What happened to Owen Declan?
we lost him. We had set up a route for him to follow to find a mugging along the way, but while we were out, he seemed to see someone that he recognized from his past maybe, and he just took off running. And we tried to follow him, but he got away and just vanished.
Wow, I'm so sorry, Declan. That must be a terrible burden to live with, knowing your interference potentially got an innocent man killed.
What? Have you not been listening to what I've been saying? Owen's story needed to be told, and it was my duty to tell it, and thanks to me, soon the whole world will know about Owen. As soon as I find Lorenzo.
Lorenzo?
Yes, Lorenzo. The antagonist, the missing piece of the puzzle. He's obviously the one behind all this. I mean, how else do you explain Owen's disappearance?
Negligence?
Don't be so naive. Yeah, Owen was a lot smarter than people gave him credit for. And he had stumbled onto something massive, something huge, and he was silenced before he could share it. But I am going to finish what Owen started. Let me show you something. Now, Owen had deduced that because there were no registered Lorenzos in the whole of southeast England, he must be using a fake moniker. Monica. He's posing as a woman. Now, he is as crafty as he is Italian, or Spanish. We haven't quite figured that out yet. But what we do know for sure is that he had definite connections to the Viet Cong, and may have even played a role in the fall of Dien Bien Phu. Now, according to this book by David Icke,
like I said, the dude's crazy.
we live in a holographic projection controlled by humanoid reptilians from the moon. Now, rearrange the letters of Lorenzo. What do you get? You get zoo and you get learn. Now, what do we find in zoos? We find reptiles. And what can we learn from this? That Lorenzo is a humanoid reptilian from the moon. And it's there that he has imprisoned Owen. And so, what I propose is a government-funded mission for me and my crew to go to the moon to find Owen and Lorenzo and bring them both back to Earth. And then my story will be complete. Where's everyone gone? Oh, it's him, isn't it? It's Lorenzo. He's behind the disappearance of everyone just now. Damn you, Lorenzo!